Murder charge and a sheriff's race. Arkansas candidate says he acted to protect his daughter. Cabot, Arkansas. When Aaron Spencer stepped out of a local library after casting his ballot, a small group of supporters waited in the parking lot to greet him. They shook his hand, posed for photos, and congratulated him on the first day of early voting in the Republican primary. For most candidates, it would have been a routine campaign moment. But Spencer's candidacy is anything but ordinary. The 37-year-old Army veteran is running for sheriff of Lonoke County while awaiting trial on a second-degree murder charge in the fatal shooting of a man accused of sexually abusing his teenage daughter. "It was surreal seeing my name on the ballot," Spencer said as he stood outside the red brick building under a gray Arkansas sky. His campaign signs, reading "Aaron Spencer for Lonoke County Sheriff," lined the curb alongside those of other local candidates, yet none of them carried the same weight of controversy. Spencer admits he shot and killed the man in October 2024, but he insists he acted to protect his daughter and has pleaded not guilty in the case. Now, as the legal battle continues, he is asking voters to place him in charge of the county's law enforcement. A campaign shaped by tragedy. Spencer's bid for sheriff has stunned many in Lonoke County, a largely rural community about 30 minutes east of Little Rock. He is challenging longtime Republican incumbent Sheriff John Staley, whose deputies arrested Spencer the night of the shooting. Spencer, who served in the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division and deployed to Iraq, has no professional law enforcement background. Still, he says the events surrounding his daughter's case pushed him into politics. "People started reaching out with their own stories about how the system failed them," Spencer said. "I struggled with the idea of just sitting it out and not doing anything." The case has drawn intense attention both locally and nationally. Online petitions calling for prosecutors to drop the charges against Spencer have gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures, and debates about his actions have spread across social media. For some residents, Spencer is a father who did what many parents might do under similar circumstances. Others worry about the consequences of taking justice into one's own hands, particularly for someone seeking the county's top law enforcement position. A divided community. Lonoke County is home to about 75,000 residents, many of whom live in small towns or scattered rural communities. In Cabot, the county's largest city, American flags hang outside modest homes and storefronts. Local diners and bars often become places where neighbors gather to talk, and lately, many of those conversations turned to Spencer's case. Supporters say they view him as someone who stood up for his family when the legal system failed. Crystal Reed, a 47-year-old resident who attended high school in the county, said Spencer's story resonated deeply with her. Reed said she was sexually abused as a teenager and felt that no one protected her at the time. "I was assaulted multiple times and there was nobody there to stop it," she said. Luckily, he was able to save his daughter. Reed said she voted for Spencer on the first day of early voting. "I'm not really political," she added. "This is only the third time I've ever voted, but this one meant something." Another resident, Shelby Cooney, expressed a similar view. "I don't think anyone with a normal mind would convict him for saving his child," she said, adding that she also experienced sexual abuse when she was younger. "I just wish I'd had someone like him in my corner." But not everyone agrees. Some residents worry that Spencer's actions crossed a line and could set a troubling precedent. Leah Bell, a Cabot resident and parent, said she understands the emotional pressure Spencer may have felt. "As a parent, I can imagine the fear he must have had," Bell said, but he's still charged with murder. Bell said she wants a sheriff who can separate emotion from law enforcement. "I don't want someone who's going to act on impulse," she said. "I want someone who will follow the law in every situation." Another resident, Amber Evans, said she worries that if Spencer were elected sheriff while facing criminal charges, it could create tension between the sheriff's office and prosecutors. "I'm not saying I disagree with what he did for his child," Evans said, "but I don't think it would make Lonoke County a better place." The night of the shooting. The events that led to Spencer's arrest began months earlier. According to investigators, Spencer's daughter, who was 13 at the time, told her parents she had been sexually abused by Michael Fossler, a 67-year-old man she met through a family acquaintance. Authorities later filed 43 criminal charges against Fossler, including sexual assault, internet stalking of a child, and possession of child pornography. All of the charges involved Spencer's daughter. Fossler pleaded not guilty and was released on $50,000 bail, with a court order prohibiting contact with the teenager. The Spencer family said they were deeply worried after his release. Then, in October 2024, Spencer said he woke in the middle of the night to find his daughter missing from her room. A stuffed animal had been placed under the covers, according to his arrest affidavit. His wife called 911 while Spencer drove through nearby roads searching for her. Soon after, he spotted Fossler's truck on a highway with his daughter inside. According to investigators, Spencer followed the vehicle and rammed it at an intersection.
Spencer told authorities that his daughter tried to exit the truck, but that Fossler grabbed her. Spencer then ordered the man out of the vehicle. When Fossler allegedly lunged toward him while holding something in his hand, Spencer fired multiple shots until his weapon was empty, the affidavit said. He then called 911. Fossler died at the scene. Legal consequences. Spencer was later charged with second-degree murder, a crime that carries a maximum penalty of 30 years in prison in Arkansas. Because a firearm was used, prosecutors could seek additional sentencing enhancements if he is convicted. Spencer's defense attorney has argued that the family believed their daughter was in immediate danger that night. At the time of the shooting, the teenager was also the key witness in the criminal case against Fossler, whose trial had been scheduled for several months later. If she hadn't been there, that case could have collapsed, Spencer's attorney said previously. Fossler's relatives have largely remained silent about the case. Sheriff Staley has said the family deserves compassion despite the allegations against him. It's a terrible situation all around, Staley said. Life after the shooting. Since the incident, the Spencer family has tried to keep a low profile at their farm outside Cabot. The property is home to chickens, turkeys, and several dogs that roam freely across the land. Spencer once raised more than 100 turkeys and hoped to build a reputation as a breeder, but the cost of legal defense forced him to sell many of the birds. I used to joke that I wanted people to know me as the guy who breeds the coolest turkeys, Spencer said. Now people know me for something completely different. The couple says their daughter, now 15, is slowly recovering from the trauma she experienced. As part of her therapy, she spends time riding a rescued Arabian horse in a field behind their home. There's something about horses, Spencer said. They seem to understand what people are feeling. Her mother says the teenager is gradually regaining confidence and learning to feel safe again. 2 weeks ago, she attended her first high school dance. For the family, the moment was significant. We were just grateful she got to feel like a normal teenager for a night, her mother wrote in a social media post. Questions about experience. While Spencer's supporters see him as a candidate who understands the importance of protecting children, critics point to his lack of law enforcement experience. Sheriff Staley said the job requires years of training and leadership. You can't learn this job on the fly, Staley said. Being sheriff isn't just about putting handcuffs on people. It's about running the jail, managing deputies, and handling complex investigations. Spencer also addressed the public perception that Spencer acted heroically. I don't know that I'd call it heroically, Staley said. I think there are still things he has to answer for. The sheriff said the decision to charge Spencer came from prosecutors, not from his department. Still, he noted that a deputy who acted similarly would likely face the same legal consequences. An uncertain future. Nearly 18 months after the shooting, Spencer's criminal case is still pending. His trial was originally scheduled for early this year, but was postponed after the Arkansas Supreme Court recused the judge assigned to the case. A retired judge has since taken over, and a new trial date is expected to be set soon. Meanwhile, voters in Lonoke County are preparing to decide the sheriff's race. The Republican nominee will likely have a strong advantage in the general election. In the 2024 presidential race, Republican candidate Donald Trump won nearly 76% of the vote in the county. If Spencer wins the primary, the situation could create an unusual legal and political conflict, a man facing a murder trial running to become the county's chief law enforcement officer. And if he were to win the election but later be convicted, party officials would have to select a replacement candidate. For now, Spencer says he is focused on both the campaign and his family. I take everything day by day, he said. He knows the outcome of his trial could change the course of his life, but he maintains that his actions were driven by one thing: protecting his child. I did what any good father would do, he said. I tried to save my daughter.